Okay, so yeah, just a few questions for you. Um, Kind of off the cuff here. I know this isn't really official necessarily, but since we started implementing Lyrics to Learn, I think it was end of November now, so we started a little bit late.
Right.
Um, but do you have any thoughts on what the overall impression is, or feedback for me, just in terms of what you see?
I am seeing that. I mean, it is honestly, it's amazing the level of enthusiasm around the implementation of it, and especially during this time.
Yeah,
Um, I was a little hesitant, not so much with Lyrics to Learn, but just that we have like state stuff going on, and those requirements were still, and that this would be seen like, oh, here we go again.
yeah,
And if anything, that is like not hasn't been the case. And in fact, this morning we just had a coaches meeting, and one of the coaches at our school, JS Waters, was like saying how much the teachers really appreciated doing like the PD with you.
yeah,
And I mean, I saw that, which I have to share with you. I saw that in our data, but this was what, 3 weeks ago,
yeah.
or and I'm still hearing about it. Um, it's remarkable, and I looked at the reports, and the teachers are really using it with
Yeah.
fidelity, and even to the point where, like the other day, and I reached out to Krista. I mean, it's like panic mode. Oh my gosh, I don't think I have my account. Oh, can you help me? And I I had to actually write back. They're on, like, I sent an email, but you realize I didn't say you realize. I said, but they're on a different time zone.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait. And sure enough, I like heard from Krista, and literally it's like, thank you. Wow, oh my gosh, just calm down.
Yeah,
So
good.
it's really it's been a big success, a huge success.
That's that's exciting to hear. Yeah, the webinar was really fun. Actually, your teachers asked a lot of really good questions, and it seemed like they were engaged. But it's hard to know. Implementing something, especially during a pandemic,
Right,
you don't know what to
right.
expect. So okay, perfect. That's great.
And also too, I don't know if Ms. Poston shared with you about, like, even like teachers were tweeting it out, tweeting their students. Like there was one student doing like this at Pittsburgh Elementary.
Yeah,
And I was like, wow, they're actually like tweeting this out. I
yeah,
don't know if they included you in it, but
yeah.
that we don't see that a lot.
That's fun. Well, I mean, yeah, the biggest thing we're trying to do now, especially, is just engage your kids, because I know from home that's one of the biggest challenges.
Mhm.
And your use has gone up considerably, actually, since we not only since we began, but since the webinar that we did, the introduction with your teachers. So that's encouraging, certainly.
Right.
Okay, and you actually covered a lot of kind of the questions I wanted to ask you just in that, which is
Sorry.
beautiful. Um, do you? I know that you've implemented other things before. Are there challenges that you know you often face as a district when you're implementing a new program that might help Lyrics Learner help us kind of in the future as we keep helping you or other districts? Are there things that we could keep in mind? Challenges you see?
Well, I mean, there's the buy-in. I think that's always a challenge. I
Yeah,
think is keeping the momentum going, and I think the next hurdle, and I'm going to say that I can't say this is the norm hurdle, the normal hurdle for
yeah,
other programs, but with the state, with North Carolina, the governor signing that students are to return,
hmm,
and getting all that worked out. We're on a hybrid plan, and that our district is doing surveys amongst parents and staff if we're going to go 4 day 5 day in person,
yeah,
being able to keep that momentum going as we come back to the classroom. And I think how to use lyrics to learn within the classroom for all the students, except for those few that, if, I think it's going to be if a parent decides not at all to have their child, but most, how to keep that momentum going. That's my only concern. I know that I saw something I was reading of yours about like center work,
Yep.
but I think that's going to be the next challenge, um, where it's integrated and not seen as, okay, now 8:30 to 9 o'clock, it's L2L time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nothing else happens.
Right.
So,
Right.
mhm,
Okay. No, that's perfect actually. And what I'll do is incorporate that into kind of our weekly emails that are going out to your teachers. We just sent out a school use summary for every teacher in every school so that they can kind of see how things are going. And I'll start including, yeah, ways kids can use it independently during rotations in a variety of formats, actually whole group, guided. That's good
right,
feedback. Thank you.
right, because we don't know 100%. And we're, in fact, our MTSS director was just saying this morning that, now our teachers have gotten used to one way, and the state may switch up,
Yep.
and with all of that. So,
Okay. Okay, perfect. Good. Yeah, I'll definitely act on that. And then the last thing I wanted to go over with you is we got your district report set up, and I'm just going to pull that up real quick and just get some quick feedback for you, just in case there are things that you'd rather see versus what we have. So 1 second here. Okay. All right. So I logged in. Just kind of your summary itself. So we can start with this. You can see the last 30 days is almost half of your overall use. So teachers are really starting to get, like, as you said, heated up in using this. Um, it just goes over overall student learning. So this is fluency and comprehension time. Teacher investment is something sort of unique with Lyrics to Learn. This is essentially how many minutes your teachers have spent going through and managing their students' learning. And what we try to do is just show you the amount of learning your kids have versus the amount of time teachers, have to have. So a bit of a, I guess that's a time in, time out comparison. And
right.
then the number of active students, the number of active teachers, and of the 138, I know that we started with that you purchased for, it looks like we have 91 that have used it, 87 in just the last 100 or in just the last 30 days. And so, yeah, that's over 50% already.
Right.
So we'll keep pushing with that. And then fluency practice time, comprehension practice time. It looks like the district's fiction and nonfiction is pretty close to 50-50, which is good to see that
That's
balance, and
good.
then a total number of lessons completed. So in terms of the school summary, just an overview, is this enough information or too much, or would you like to see anything else?
No, this is good. I like how, if you scroll down, you do like the separate schools. 'Cause
Yep.
and I think that is critical, because, like, I can see who's using it, and it might be something to bring attention to, like, the coaches, because that's what I've been looking at
Okay,
personally. Just like,
good.
okay, who is logged on. I don't know if you can do that now without showing names. Uh,
Yeah, I was just checking that myself too. So
yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
have all of your schools, and I think the quick expand,
Hmm.
just kind of that overview doesn't give any
Hmm.
names. And so yeah,
Yeah.
if you hit the details, that sounds like that's what
Details.
you've been doing. You can go into the school, into specific teachers, and even down into
Mhm.
specific students if you wanted to. So that's actually good
Right.
feedback to know too. The
Right.
detail is where you're kind of spending more of your time.
Right. That's,
Okay.
because we're implementing and being able to see, okay, are they using it, and
Yeah.
whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think this report is really good.
Okay.
Um, and it's helpful. And it's amazing. Just like the usage, just like,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay, good. That's perfect. Okay, is there, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and if you don't have additional information you want, that's fine. You can always email me, but could you think of anything? I know you spent some time in there, but can you think of anything that you'd like to see that we haven't been able to show you yet, or worked into your district report? Because we customize it in any way you really want.
Um, mine is just more from a operational,
Yeah.
and being able to see if, like, a teacher students have been rostered, or if the teacher has gone on and pulled in. That would be helpful, and especially there's been a lot of, relatively this year, because of the whole pandemic, there's been a lot of movement of teachers and subs, and that that would be helpful.
Okay.
So I can, ask or find out
Yep.
myself, but instead of asking, I should say, are there students? And another thing, and this is not, honestly, this is not an issue. It's something that in our district, we have dual language, we have 2 schools that are dual language.
Yeah.
And the format, the way they are set up, I should say, is that their teachers share students. And I know right now the technology is not in, it's not unique, as I said, with Lyrics2Learn.
Yeah.
But even if it doesn't have to be anything technical per se, but, and I should have thought of this, like, just maybe the classroom is just called that classroom.
Right.
One classroom with 40, it's a lot of people, but for our 2 schools, they're sharing these students. I haven't heard any complaints, because they do share their passwords and stuff, and
Yeah.
that's great. But just down the road, perhaps, I don't know.
No, that's a great point, because there's a lot of, especially now, everyone's adapted to this in a different way. And even before the pandemic, schools are approaching learning in a lot of different creative ways, involving multiple teachers, interventionists, students. So that's great feedback, and something that we can definitely kind of put in our, what we call our think tank, to release new things. So that's a good idea.
But other than that, I mean, really, honestly, it's really, I wouldn't say anything else. Don't change too much.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Good. That's
just
great
don't get
news.
too
Yeah.
sophisticated. Yeah, then it gets to, like, oh, it's not user friendly,
Yeah.
admin friendly, and
Yeah.
then people won't touch it.
Right. No, there's definitely a line, right, between how detailed do we want to get, especially for teachers, because the more complex it gets, the harder implementation gets as well.
Exactly.
So, okay. All right. Perfect. Well, Daphne, that's all I have for you. And I appreciate you allowing me just to kind of talk to you, candidly, and get some feedback.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. And we'll be in touch. I'll be talking to you. Have a great weekend.
Okay, you too. Thanks.
Thanks, Daphne. See ya.
Bye. Bye-bye.